Welcome to our show, A Mexican Crossing Lines, with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
You're listening to 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. Excuse me. And tonight, we are doing a show called Fake News and Caravan Watch. There is a lot of strange news I have seen. I'm going to run down some of the stories that we need to cover on tonight's show. Jussie Smollett, it is now confirmed, faked a hate crime. We're going to talk about that more in depth. Indigenous Peoples March supported Jussie Smollett or movement. The Indigenous Peoples Movement leaders defended also another hoax, the Nathan Phillips Covington Catholic School kids confrontation, another staged event. We will talk more about that. And we will talk about the people that I have been investigating for over 2.5 years that are completely and totally okay with fabricating lies, creating fake crimes, fake hate crimes, and supporting them and digging their heels in even when they're caught, like John Gonzales, who defended the staged crime of Nathan Phillips. I'll be showing you that today, as well as a previous crime that I have uncovered, a fraud, as Marcus Mitchell said he was shot, and a lot of these same Standing Rock phonies supported his defrauding of people for thousands and thousands of dollars. People all the way up in the leadership of the camps like Ladonna, Allard, and Phillis Young that were at the head of inviting people to Standing Rock to come and protest the Dakota Access Pipeline. People like Evan Duke III, Antifa leader that is now at that Texas camp, as well as Chase Iron Eyes. And finally, we will talk about people in the upper echelon of the political spectrum, like Ilhan Omar, who also defended Jussie Smollett. She has since removed her tweet, but she's in hot water for other things that she has said that were anti-Semitic, that she got a slap on the wrist from Nancy Pelosi for, and she got called out. She didn't say sorry because she was sorry. She said sorry because she got caught. She said sorry because Nancy Pelosi told her, no, that you do not do. And she had, oh, I can't do that, huh? And so she had to walk it back. She walked it back. And she did a sorry, not sorry apology for her anti-Semitism. And we're going to talk about who ran to her aid and the staged protest. Yes, a staged protest that was supposed to attract Trump supporters so that the Antifa people there could identify them, dox them, harass them, attack them, all of that. I will apologize in advance to you because I wasn't planning on doing a show today. I have been feeling under the weather. I will be blowing my nose a lot and probably needing some help and support from you too.
That's true. That's too bad. That's too bad. You've been hanging in there. It's still really cold here. It's close to zero. We have feet and feet and feet of snow out there. It's been kind of uncomfortable being inside, and outside, that is. Inside it's not that comfortable either because it's cold. So it's really hard when you get a cold and you're feeling sick. But we try to keep the place heated up and put the humidifier on and try to care for you as much as we can. And hopefully we're doing a good job. You still seem to be breathing.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Thank you for doing that. So I also want to send thank you to all of you who sent me emails with links and videos and story ideas, topics, information. I will be sharing some of that with you tonight as part of our Caravan Watch. And I'm going to bring you information about how the same people that are so good at staging these fake hate crimes, these fake protests, these fake stories in the news that are involved with the organization and exploitation of the caravan crisis, how they do what they do, how they spin the information that's in the news to make themselves out to be the victims. To make themselves out to be the victims, no matter how much evidence that they are criming, you bring out. No matter how much evidence that they are lying, you put forward. Facts don't seem to matter, folks. And that is what really concerns me. That we now live in a world where people don't care about the evidence. They don't care about the facts. All they care about is their ideologies. It feels to me, Duke, like these people have been brainwashed, like they're in a cult. I have had so many people, simply because I reported the news, simply because I posted the video, simply because I showed the evidence of these stories, they are attacking me. They're attacking me in PMs. I've had people say that I was a reverse racist. I've been pigeonholed both as a Democrat and a Republican. I am a centrist, for those of you who care. I don't think it really matters to the people that hate me. What I am, because you call me a racist, no matter what I do. It doesn't really seem to matter. But I will not be bullied into silence. I'm going to continue to present the evidence because I know, I have faith in Americans. I believe that you really do want to know the truth. I know that there are some sane people still left on this earth, in this country, that would rather know the truth, even if it doesn't confirm their own biases. Even if it doesn't confirm your own bias, I am going to show you. And as you know, a Mexican crossing lines always shows her work. I always show you my evidence, my receipts, so that you can see for yourselves, okay? Once again, over the weekend, as I was posting about these things, I got a lot of angry hate mail and comments because I was talking about these things. But despite all of the hate mail I received, I still want to thank you for sharing your feelings with me, for sharing your topic ideas, and for sharing your comments as well. I welcome all of it because I respect your right to your opinions. So thank you for your support, or thank you for your hatred, I guess. As I have said before, sometimes I'd leave if I didn't have trolls. I wouldn't have any followers. But I also want to encourage you to send a tax-deductible donation our way. We are a 501c3. We are non-commercial, independent media, and we want to stay that way. So we need your help because the work that we do here is crucial. You're not going to see this on CNN. You're not going to see this on Fox News. You're not going to see this anywhere in the mainstream. So please send us your support. Duke, how can they do that?
Well, they can do it several ways. You know, kind of interesting. We got some support from a local person this weekend. And she said it was okay that I could mention her name on the air. Her name is Mara Storhog Solberg. And she and her son are doing some farm work, chickens and sheep, and they work at some local markets in the summertime. And she said they started from scratch, scratch. And she said maybe you could do a story on her son starting a new business, and as he gets it off the ground, maybe we'll do a story. And I said, sure. And
that sounds great.
She sent us a $50 contribution, and it's tax deductible, and she's very excited. She's never listened to our radio station. She lives kind of on the edge of where it might not reach her house, but she's going to try to set a radio up in her house and be able to listen to us. And I said, listen to us in the car. And we'll mention her on the actual radio too. But, she contacted us on Facebook. You know, our Facebook site is one place where people can get a hold of us, and a lot of people do. You go to 88.1 FM Fargo-Moorhead. We also have the People's Press Project in Mexi-Can. If you want to tweet us at media_PPP. And you can send Cindy email at cindy@kpppfm.com, me, Duke, at kpppfm.com. And also you can call our call-in line, which is actually a message line, and you can leave your wonderful messages there, whether they be positive, negative. We can hear your beautiful voice, and we may use it on air, we may not. You can call that number, and it's 701-566-0917. Again, it's 701-566-0917. And also don't forget to go to kpppfm.com. That's where we are putting our shows. We put all of our shows up. We upload them to YouTube. The channel on YouTube is Duke1517. And there's a playlist for Mexican Crossing Lines where you can watch all the shows that we produce. There's probably about 300 of them.
Just on this topic alone.
Yeah, on this topic alone. And, our previous shows. And if you go to our website, kpppfm.com, you'll see the video on a page. You'll see the show name. You'll see the videos. You'll also, excuse me. You also see an audio file. The audio files we traditionally use on a radio station, which is local, Fargo, North Dakota, Moorhead, Minnesota. The Facebook Lives go all the way out, other countries. We have some subscribers in Mexico, people in Europe, someone in Australia, some people in Canada, some people in Alaska, and
Ireland.
So Ireland. So people are watching this all over the world, and we really appreciate that. If any of you want to make a contribution, you can go to kpppfm.com/donate, and there's a donation page. Tells you a little more of our history, that we're an official nonprofit, a 501c3 organization, so your donation is a donation. And we have we have tax accountability for all of that. We really appreciate your support, and thank you very much for donating. If you donate, let us know if I can say your name on the air, on the Facebook Lives, and on our local radio station, so people in the community can hear that you contributed. We think it's wonderful. It helps us out, helps us pay the bills of keeping the station going, because we have to pay for an antenna, electricity, internet, and the different things we have to do to get this on the air. And all the money goes into that. So thank you very much.
And I want to send a special thank you. Mwah! Every one of you who shares, I see you. I try to love all of your, because when you share, it says right there on your comment name, sharer. It labels you as one of the people that shared my show. And I send a lot of love to you for doing that, because it really does help us get this message out. So thank you very much to all of you who do that. Also, I wanted to start off by talking about the Kathleen Bennett case. I know that many of you who may be new to watching my show don't know what the Kathleen Bennett case is, but it is what got all of this started. It is the fake news story from Standing Rock that got me involved in investigating all of these Standing Rock phonies in the first place. It was a story, and many of you nationally might have heard about it. I'm sure you heard about the Dakota Access Pipeline protest, right? That took place at Standing Rock here in North Dakota. So there was a news story about supposedly, allegedly, and it was a complete fake story, that these people, these very same people that I've been investigating, involved in the leadership of the Indigenous Peoples March, and the stories that I have been covering about the Caravan, and the stories that I've been covering about the Texas camp that they have right now. These very same people either participating in framing an innocent woman, Kathleen Bennett, for a crime she did not commit, and taking away her elderly 82-year-old mother with dementia from her, leaving her in a hospital in the hands of a kidnapper, a criminal, Mulaney Stoneman, to die, leaving her in the hands of this person in this hospital just to die. We were able to exonerate this woman, prove that the claims made against her were completely false, and save her from a prison term of 15 years. But all of the people involved in this, they were going to let this happen to an innocent woman. People in the media helped them to cover up the story. like Jordan Sheridan and the Young Turks. People in lots of different media platforms either completely ignored the story, like The Intercept, and many others. You've heard me talk about them in the past, which is why I started watching them and going, these people are fake news. These people do not really, I mean, they're bought and paid for. They're compromised. I don't know what else you can call it. And I started realizing, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of these different media platforms that either have a writer in there that carries water for these phonies, puts their stories in the media, you know, like back in the day when you would, you know, payola to get your song on the radio.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. It's like that. And they have entire media platforms that they created at Standing Rock, which are really just live stream platforms or YouTube channels with very high quality camera equipment.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. And they propagate these stories all over the place for themselves to be the heroes of and for themselves to be the victims of. And in the case of the Kathleen Bennett crime that they did against her family, they would have let that happen if they hadn't been stopped by me. And they have spent every waking moment since then trying to shut me down and shut me up and discredit me because I see them. I know what they are. I know that they're frauds. They can tell you all day long that they're worried about the land and they want to save Mother Earth and they just want to protect the water and they want to protect vulnerable people and they want to protect Indigenous sovereignty and rights and they want to protect missing and murdered women. But these people perpetrated a crime against an Indigenous woman and her elderly mother with dementia. They did not care what was going to happen to that woman. Did not care. And they try to cover up the crime because they were involved with all of the people. They were working with all of the people that falsely framed her. So I know firsthand what these people are capable of. And just like in the Jussie Smollett case, just like in the Nathan Phillips hoax, they just dig in their heels further.
Yeah.
When you catch them red-handed, when you show everyone in the world that they're hypocrites, that they are liars, that they are phonies and frauds, they just dig their heels in. I'm going to show you, okay? Watch. So y'all know Jussie Smollett is a liar, and he paid, here's an article I'm going to share with you. He paid those two men. This is what the two men who are now cooperating with the police. So Jussie might go to jail. Jussie might do some jail time for lying. You got some splaining to do, Jussie. See how many Good Morning America interviews he does now.
Yeah.
See how many tearful interviews he does now after he's been caught. Because we first learned recently that they caught the two guys. They found the two guys, right? And the way they found them, because the media didn't tell us the whole story, the way they found them is because Jussie heavily, first he didn't want to cooperate with the cops and he didn't want to give him his phone records. Then he heavily redacted the records he turned over to the police when he finally did, because it was all over the media. He wasn't cooperating and it looked bad. Why would you not want to cooperate in the investigation of a hate crime against you?
Exactly.
And so then the second thing is, that's how they found the two guys, because he just deleted the contacts off their phone and they subpoenaed his records and they're like, oh, these two people are missing. And they looked them up and bingo, bango, they found the two guys. One of them had been on the Empire show.
Yeah.
So he's an actor. Both of them are aspiring actors.
That's right.
And remember how many times I told you a lot of these people are B-list, D-list, F-list actors? That's all they are. They're looking for, something to put on their resume.
Yeah.
That's all that this is for them. They are professional, paid protesters, failed actors.
Yep.
In the case of Louis Monsivais, stunt actor. For Danny Trejo, the guy that I told you guys was in the video, the guy that who was one of the best comments I got was Manson's leftovers. He looks like
He does.
He does. You nailed it. Whoever came up with that. Oh my God, I was rolling. That guy was talking about how he's a coyote, brings people in illegally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're criminals. And most of them, as I've shown you, the ones that I've been highlighting have criminal backgrounds. They have criminal histories. So Jussie, actually, now we find out in this article that was in ABC News, he is implicated in the attack on himself. The brothers said that he paid them.
Yeah.
And what did you say he paid for this?
He said $3,500. And in one of the articles that I picked up on the same story, it says that it was from a source from the police department actually said that he had been paid they had been paid $3,500, and he paid for the rope.
What?
Which to me was like, get your own supplies when you're going to do a scam. But I guess he was. I don't know who paid for the bleach, but there's a lot of information that hasn't come forward. But that's come forward. And I remember when we first started dealing with this, we were talking about some things just didn't set right. Things didn't seem right. Something was odd. And when a story initially hits you, we want to believe that if people are harmed, and people are, hurt, people are attacked, we want to give our hearts out to them. But when something seems weird, you kind of got to follow that, and kind of like, well, why does this sound weird? And as it turns out, it's getting weirder and weirder and weirder every day. And more information is coming out. And, I would like to know the whole truth and the whole story around this because it's captivated the news and people have stepped forward to support him. And it always bothers me when someone fakes a crime like that, especially against a group that's oppressed, what it does to people who are being beat up and the hate crimes that are happening to people of color and LGBTQI people that, we need to deal with in this society. And when this happened, you lose the support of people who are sitting on the fence. You start being, you move things backwards. All these fakers putting the fake stuff out there moves us backwards, and that really bothers me.
But there's more to that, Duke. In every one of these things, they're targeting Trump supporters. They're targeting, they're saying MAGA country. He put that in there. He wanted to make sure that he tied it to MAGA country, to the president, the same way that the Nathan Phillips people injected Build the Wall, injected the lies that would tie it to the wall. Okay. You want to know when I started thinking, because when this first came out, I was like, that sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like, it just sounds weird that, I could see somebody attacking someone for being gay, but why would you say, like, I'm a Republican? Burn,
yeah, that's right.
It's so weird.
I'm a mega country hater.
Right? So, these people are progressives staging hate crimes against Trump supporters, against anybody that's a Republican, essentially.
Yep.
Anyone that wears a red MAGA hat or says "Make America Great Again." That makes you a target.
Yeah.
Automatically. How do you feel about this? I don't think that that's right. I think that's a crime. I think that what they're doing is criminal. You're not just reporting a hate crime. You are inciting hatred against anyone that's Republican or a follower of Trump.
Yeah,
and I would be a hypocrite. I would be a hypocrite as a woman of color that despises racism and that despises hate crimes if I didn't say that is a form of hate crime as well.
Well, yeah, you're accusing people of doing something they didn't do, and it's like, even though, I have a problem with haters, I have a problem with, we always talk about people have the right in this country to have an opinion, to be able to have free speech. I don't agree with hate speech. The ACLU would differ. They support hate speech. They support Nazis because they believe in the Constitution. But it's like, you got to make some sense of some of this stuff. And then if you're accusing people, you know, people have been led a certain way and they have these beliefs. If they're not out there, you know, hating on people, and you make up that they are, then you're creating hatred against the haters. And there's going to be some innocent people in there that are, you know, are going to get caught up in all this sort of stuff. And there's been enough Antifa movement stuff that's really attacking people. I mean, physically attacking people. These folks are out there. I don't know if we have any of that material tonight.
Yeah,
I think we do have some of that material. But it's like, you know, they are creating hatred towards people who disagree with them. And then they're violent and they're beating them up, you know. And this is what, you know, way back, the ARA, Anti-Racist Action, when I was younger, I was helping raise some teenage kids that were hanging out here with part of the ARA. I mean, they would get together and neo-Nazis would have a rally and they'd go beat the hell out of their cars, smash their windows. And they needed police escorts for the neo-Nazis to go out and do their parades. And I remember those guys are like, they're going to kill us. And it's like, they were. And they felt totally justified in their tactics of doing that. And, you know, I don't agree with that. I think it's creating more violence. And we need to fight against violence, but not with violence to stop the violence. That just doesn't work. You know, so I believe that these fakers, and when they you know, especially when you fake a hate crime, and then you start getting all these people that support you. I mean, that's happened in this community, where a woman faked a crime from neo-Nazis, and the whole community came out. And when it came out, she lied. There were so many people that it actually turned them from being someone who was going to support people who are victims of hate crimes and support people who are oppressed in our community, that turned them against them. It had the reverse effect of people who were kind of on the fences. First time they went public and said, I support this. I don't think this should happen in our community. Say no to this hatred in our community. Oh, it was fake. Well, screw those people now. Geez, why did I even support that in the first place? They created more haters out of this. And so it has that sort of impact and that sort of reverse effect.
And it makes me, as a woman of color, as an Indigenous person, it makes me really angry. My son is transgender. My child is gay. I asked him about the Jussie Smollett thing. I said, what do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? He said, it's disgusting. It makes me angry. I said, well, there's a lot of gay people in the people of color community, okay, that are saying right now, well, we should defend Jussie Smollett, even if this is a lie, even if he made it up. Because in the past, white people have lied about crimes committed against them that got people in the community of color killed, like Emmett Till. And he looked at me like, no, Mom, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I just wanted to ask you if the logic that I just put forward makes any sense to you, because it doesn't make sense to me. It sounded crazy to me, but I just wanted to check with someone who's gay to let me know, like,
that's right.
Does this sound crazy to you too? Turns out, yes, it does. Maybe because he's my son, he thinks the way I do. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave your comments. Call our message line and tell me what you think, or send me an email or tweet at me or whatever. But let me know what you think. I'd really love to know. Okay, I want to show you what Jussie Smollett said. I want to remind you how he kept doubling down on this lie, even as questions were swirling that this might be fake, that this might not be true. He really pushed the narrative, dug his heels in that definitely it is, it's true. He even called himself the gay Tupac. Here is a CNN clip where he talks about this at his concert, which happened soon after he was released from the hospital from this attack.
Actor and singer Jussie Smollett was back on stage last night, less than a week after he says he was attacked by two men in Chicago. Last night's concert in West Hollywood was his first public appearance since he reported that attack to police. Now, no one has been arrested. Police have not found surveillance video of the attack, but They've released pictures of two men they'd like to speak with. At last night's performance, Smollett clarified a few things.
My little sister is literally like Olivia Pope, like she's in the back. I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked. They were not broken. I went to the doctor immediately. Frank Gasson drove me. I was not hospitalized. Both my doctors in LA and Chicago cleared me to perform, but said to take care, obviously. And above all, I fought back. I'm the King Tupac. So now we can do our encore.
So, two of the major corrections that he made there were that somebody was circulating these rumors that his ribs were cracked and they weren't cracked. And the other one was that he went to see a doctor immediately. He was not hospitalized, right?
Yep.
Who would spread those rumors? Well, one of the people that spread those rumors is Yonazda Lone Wolf Hill, the daughter of Louis Farrakhan? Granddaughter,
I thought.
Granddaughter of Louis Farrakhan.
Yep.
The other day, I said something wrong. I said I was talking about Zoe Winkler, and I thought she was the granddaughter of Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Turns out she's his daughter.
Okay.
So I misspoke. I apologize for messing that up. But I just, in my mind, Henry Winkler is, he's the Fonz. He's so old to me.
He's so old.
And she looks so young. I just assumed she was his granddaughter, and she's not. And even though I know that in my head, when I talk about her, I still say she's the granddaughter.
Okay.
I apologize to Henry Winkler for that.
Yep.
And everybody else that I've labeled as a daughter or a granddaughter when they're not. Anyway, Yonazda is the granddaughter of Nation of Islam Louis Farrakhan. She is part Native American Lakota, and she was part of the Indigenous Peoples March, is part of the Indigenous Peoples Movement, was one of the people circulating the Nathan Phillips hoax, defending Nathan Phillips, was with a lot of the people that were part of the Awake movie from Standing Rock, which is full of frauds and phonies and criminals that was done in conjunction with Josh Fox, the documentary filmmaker. And Yonazda's first, one of her first posts about this is when I was like, oh, these people from the Indigenous Peoples March that are just spreading these lies about Nathan Phillips right now are supporting this kind of iffy Jussie Smollett story. This must be fake. That's what I was like, this must be fake.
That's what tipped
And
you
it
off.
was so early on in the story that when I said, I think he's lying about it, nobody believed me and they were angry with me. But this was the reason why, because when I see phonies in force out lying together, I'm like, oh, this is a lie. This is a staged event because all of the usual suspects are present.
Yep.
So Yonazda posted Jussie Smollett hospitalized after homophobic and racially motivated attack. We know he wasn't hospitalized, but Yonazda posted about that anyway, saying prayers for Jussie Smollett. Then I didn't even know they were friends.
Yeah.
Then she tweeted about it saying, and she made sure to connect it to the Nathan Phillips hoax, which I thought,
okay.
what? Why are you connecting one thing to another thing, both of which are hoaxes, both of which were staged, folks? She said, my prayers are with Jussie Smollett. First, MAGA hat kids disrespect Native Elder Nathan Phillips. Now, MAGA hat white boys beat up Jussie and leave him with a fractured rib. Okay, let's list all the lies. Of course, we know that the Native American elder was not disrespected by the Covington Catholic School kids.
That's true.
And she lied about that. And we also know that there was no MAGA hats, right? That was another lie. Jussie said he never said that, but she said it.
That's right.
And she connected it to the MAGA hat kids were wearing at the march. Then she says 2 white boys beat up Jussie. We know they were definitely not white, right? So then she says fractured rib. Yeah. How many lies is that, people?
Oh,
all of the fingers of my hand.
Yep, exactly.
All of the fingers of my hand. So, the other person that tipped me off, I was like, this Jussie Smollett thing does not smell good, was when Chase Iron Eyes posted about it.
Okay.
When Chase Iron Eyes posted about this, I was like, what? Chase Iron Eyes is talking about this? You want to show the post of Chase Iron Eyes about this, Duke? It's the article, Chicago police say Empire actor Jussie Smollett refuses to hand over cell phone to them. You have to go to the top of the post where it shows that Chase Iron Eyes posted it, honey.
I see. This way.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry about that.
And it was an NBC article where it was talking about the fact that, Jussie Smollett is not cooperating with the police. And then NBC News tweeted saying, Empire actor Jussie Smollett has refused to turn over his cell phone to detectives who are investigating the alleged attack that sent him to the hospital. Again, no, it wasn't. No hospital.
Yep.
Earlier this week. And Chase Iron Eyes says, with no evidence whatsoever, the hashtag MAGA machine starts its spin. The MAGA machine starts a spin. NBC News is part of the MAGA machine. I'm wondering, I'm asking. That's what he's saying here. It's really, really weird. So that was what made me think, this story is probably false. And it turned out to be completely false. Head to toe. Soup to nuts. Yep. All of it. So, the people that are down in Texas at the camp that I told you already know that this part of the border wall was funded in a 2018 omnibus bill that gave them the opportunity to finish a part of the wall. One of you sent me a story that showed that people were being notified what parts of the wall still needed to be finished and would be built in 2008. In 2008.
Well, they've been working on this wall for a while. You know, it's like it's not like it's this new thing. You know and it's gotten funding. I'm gonna adjust my camera a little bit there. Mm-hmm. It's gotten funding from different Congresses. There's been different presidents who have. This wall's been being built for years, and whether you agree with it or not, the infrastructure has been being put in place. And it's just turned into this polarizing issue lately, and also with the fakers that are manipulating the caravan and taking these opportunities to put these issues in the way they're framing them to get all these people riled up. They're just taking the opportunity to do that. I mean, one reason why I think Chase Iron Eyes said the mega spin is because their whole thing was that it was all about the MAGA people doing their stuff, and the truth was, it was about the Indigenous people's movement spin. It was about the people who were actually spinning what they spun, and they were just deflecting it on other people.
Mm-hmm. And when people get upset with me for exposing these people as phonies, I am always so surprised because what they're defending is the ideology behind the words that are coming out of these phonies' mouth holes, but they don't believe in it. They don't really fight for it. Do you think these people give a rat's ass whether the wall gets built, doesn't get built? Do you really think that they care one iota about the people in the caravan? No, they don't. They don't even know half the time what they're talking about. Sometimes they're putting forth things like cold fusion and promoting junk science and complete fabrications. I mean, it's insane. It really is insane. It's exhausting. It's exhausting trying to explain what it is that I am up against and what it is that you're up against. But despite all of the facts, despite the fact that, as I said and showed you on their own GoFundMe, they said that they probably weren't going to be able to stop the border wall being built there. They're still raising money, and they're still raising hell. Yeah. And they went down there. Do you remember the executive director, Duke, that we showed on yesterday's show or the day before show, whatever the last show was? Yeah. That is the new. We showed that she's relatively new, Miss Miriam Trevino Wright. Yep. The lady that I told you used to hold up big checks every time she got money for her, like this in hospital clinic thing organization she worked for. That's right. Switch gears. And I told you, really, she's more of a PR person. That's why they kind of hired her. Yeah, they need that. To speak on behalf of the Butterfly Sanctuary. She's the woman in the video talking to the Border Patrol, the authorities that are there to tell her she's trespassing and that she doesn't have a right to be protesting in the area where she is. This group of protesters decided they were going to go there and hold hands and form a human wall of love. Oh, human wall of love. Yeah, like they did it out at Standing Rock where they made a human medicine wheel. Or like they did in, in Portugal where they this is the same kind. They do this everywhere they go. Oh, yeah. This is just all for the photo op, for the moment, and for the confrontation so that it can get ugly, so that they can look like, superstar activists for the TV, for the film. Yeah. Here's a clip of that video. And again, she's the one that they come up and talk to. Also notice Doug Warren, this poetry slam guy, the guy with the little green vest. Yeah. You're going to see him in there. Also notice carrying the Standing Rock flag, like Standing Rock has anything to do with any of this, Dwayne Redwater of Aerol Medicine. You'll see some of the phonies in here. Maybe you can even see Evan Duke. I did see him in other longer videos, but I'm not going to share those. Here's a short clip of the protest that they were holding.
We are going to stay on the levee, and we are going to move in front of this Border Patrol vehicle along the levee to form our human chain, facing the north, facing the rest of the United States, facing the White House or Mar-a-Lago, and let everyone see us united. What is it? El Valle, united and never be divided. So let's demonstrate that now. We can move this way on the levee, which is our property.
And if anybody needs water, Joshua here. Can you raise your hand, Joshua?
Yes, I do. You're on your private property. You have water. You have an easement on our property. That does not abrogate.
The water's life.
That does not abrogate our private property rights.
Stay strong, hermana.
So we're going to make our chain and then we'll leave. This does
You're all good, hermana. Stay strong.
You want to listen to the recording from Mr. Davis?
Right over there.
Okay, then let's listen to the recording together. No, we're going to make our chain and then we will go. Please. We are going to make our chain. If we didn't have to, this is private property. And it's on our private property. You have an easement.
This is our levy.
The easement does not abrogate our private property rights to traverse any direction along our property. So let's make our chain.
You'll notice Doug Warren likes to be right where the action is going to be. Yeah. If there's going to be gas, what's it called?
Natural gas?
No, like the kind that the cops use on people.
Pepper spray?
Pepper spray, or if there's going to be...
gas.
Or if there's going to be a, any kind of confrontation with the cops, he wants to be there. These folks strike me as people looking for a fight, looking for a confrontation. I've showed you others of his videos as well. And here's that Mariana Trevino Wright woman that is the executive directors of the Butterfly Sanctuary's Facebook page. She has the Statue of Liberty as her, excuse me.
The Statue of Liberty is her little icon. Was she a woman that was speaking to the cops saying we have an easement?
Yes. That's who she was. That's who she is. This is her. This is the one that I showed the hiring of on that page. That's her. And it says on her cover photo, man is the most insane species. He worships an invisible God and he destroys a visible nature, unaware that this nature that he's destroying is the God he is worshiping. And I also wanted to show you one of her posts about the whole, march that you just saw her in there, and the fact that's her picture, by the way.
Okay.
You see that's the same shirt that the Corrizo Come Crudo tribe tribal chairman was wearing in the story about the cemetery. You see that is also the name of a Facebook page, No Border Wall, that they have been raising money on and messaging through. And this is what she put in the comments there next to her photo. Someone says to her that you are so kind. I am completely unnerved by... You are also kind, she says. She responds to the people that are telling her nice things about her work with this march and everything. She says, you're all so kind. I'm completely unnerved by all of this that is happening, and honestly wish I didn't have to deal with it.
Oh, it's so much easier to get a big check instead of having to stand in front of the cops.
And she says, somebody responds to her, Anne says, it's not an easy position to be in, but I sense that you are well equipped to deal with it. You may not win, again, conceding that this wall's going to get built.
Yeah.
This is all for show, folks. All for show. And they know it. And the people that are watching them do it also know it. You may not win in all of the ways that you wish for, but you will win in ways that can't yet be seen.
Oh, yeah.
You already have, actually. Really? What ways are those? Tell me about these imaginary ways that no one will know about.
The big checks. The big checks.
And they must be happening behind the scenes. Okay, so I now want you to see what this BAM march. There is for those of you who don't know about this Antifa connected group. This was posted in the Border Support Network. I want you to go to the very top of the post so that you can see that it came from the page Border. You need to go to the very top of the post. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
Do you see that picture from the butterfly?
Oh, yes.
That came from the Border Support Network. So if you go to Border Support Network's page, the one that used to be called #Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network, started by Evan Duke. When he first started it, it was the Occupy ICE, I think.
Okay.
Or Abolish ICE, maybe it was. One of those two. Anyway, him and Myron Dewey of Digital Smoke Signals manage and administrated, as well as many of these Antifa leaders. And BAM leaders, by any means necessary leaders that are prone to violence, many of whom have been arrested, including one of their leaders, Yvette Filarca, for assault. I've shown you others of their leaders, like the cyclist guy that put out a press release, also arrested for carrying weapons. A whole bunch of these people have been arrested for their violent behaviors. And Maria Bellman posted in the Caravan Support Network, now Border Support Network page, for those of you in the metro,
Those of you in the
Thank
Metro
you.
Detroit area, National Day of Action.
Mm-hmm.
Here, National Day of Action against Trump's national emergency. March and rally this Monday at Wayne State University, 42nd and Warren Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 12 p.m. No to Trump's wall, yes to asylum seekers, defend the caravans, march to freedom, impeach Trump now.
Okay, now I want you to scroll down.
All right.
Remember I told you that Bertie Gutierrez, it was connected to the Detroit and promoted in the Detroit Abolish ICE page, and that they were connected to some of this. How do I know? It says right here, Clyde Aroni says, "Hiya, I'm with Occupy ICE Detroit. We were hoping to join you on this. I believe one of our other members messaged the BAM page about working together."
Oh, of course.
Okay?
Yeah.
I know, so they keep saying, "Oh, no. We don't have anything to do with BAM.
We're not connected.
We're not connected with BAM. BAM uses violence, and we don't do that, even though Antifa does do that, and the anarchists working with them do that. But they're like, no. We're not connected. We're not connected. They're connected.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to show you, Errol Medicine put out a video on this very same page saying, "Oh, Evan Duke is not in the leadership. He doesn't have anything to do with this." He was at the march I just showed you right now that I didn't show you the other videos of.
Yeah.
But if you want to go over there to their No Walls page and look at all the videos that they put out about this stupid, pointless march to stop a wall that they're not going to stop, that's fine. You can go do that for yourself, and you will see Evan Duke with his Doug flag that I explained to you before, and he is also wearing his baseball cap, and he has his typical kefir, whatever it is called, scarf that he's got on his neck all the time. So you can find him. He's right there with all of them, and he's still fine with the leadership of Standing Rock, like Phyllis Young, who has promoted all of these phonies, including the hoax that happened with Nathan Phillips and the Covington Catholic School kids. And you see that Evan Duke posted this on February 14th, saying, you read that one.
A federal judge on Thursday dismissed a lawsuit from the North American...
All the way from the top. Hashtag butterflies, Battle of the Butterfly. No. You're right there. Okay. You just have to read the hashtags too.
Okay. Hashtags Battle of the Butterflies. No border wall.
You going to be in the screen?
So me sick. Oh, I thought I had me on there.
No, you put me back on.
Oh, these things are messed up.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
There we go. Got it in the right position. Okay. Let me start over. Evan K. Duke III shared a link on February 14th at 8:45 p.m. Hashtag Battle of the Butterflies. Hashtag No Border Wall. Hashtag Somi Strong. Hashtag Somos un Pueblo. A federal judge on Thursday dismissed a lawsuit from the North American Butterfly Association that sought to block the Trump administration's plan to construct a border wall near the National Butterfly Center in South Texas. U.S. District Court Judge Richard Leon ruled against NABA, writing that the organization's claims that the government violated the Fourth Amendment rights by entering the sanctuary without consent does not apply in this case, because the amendment offers little refuge for unenclosed land near one of the country's external borders. And they got a picture of a wall. Federal judge dismisses lawsuit by butterfly conservationists over Trump border wall.
And look who comments.
Oh.
Phyllis Young, one of the AIM leaders, the American Indian Movement, that radical group that Chase is also one of the AIM babies of, and also is in the leadership of. Phyllis Young, who was one of the people standing right next to Nathan Phillips, celebrating Nathan Phillips, honoring Nathan Phillips, after he lied about his military service, after he lied about the Covington Catholic School kids. That Phyllis Young definitely supports violent Antifa leader Evan K. Duke and says to him, federal judges have built the pipelines. Tears.
Yeah,
She's still commenting on his post.
It's all part of the same tactics. Remember Standing Rock? They filed all these lawsuits that went nowhere. Lawsuits that go nowhere. You know, it's like
But they raised a lot of money.
They raised a lot of money for them, and it kind of like makes it look like they're doing something, and they just funnel a bunch of money for filing fees and whatever lawyer fees they have to pay. Use some of that legal money that they need to raise. One way to raise a lot of money. One way to raise a lot of money you're not going to actually use because the thing gets dismissed. And then they're like, well, we're going to fight on now. We're going to fight on now. It's all those tactics for show.
I'm pretty sure Evan K. Duke is lying about his military service. He first said that he went to Standing Rock with the Veterans Stand for Standing Rock with Wesley Clark Jr. And, he has been closely connected to presidential candidate for 2020, Tulsi Gabbard, as well as a lot of, people that, like, I don't know how you get this close, how a person like Evan Duke is allowed to be in close proximity to some of these politicians and to some of these famous people. I would be scared of that association because of what it will do to my reputation down the road. But these folks don't seem to care. It doesn't seem to faze them. I can see like a felon like Chase Iron Eyes doesn't really care about who he hangs out with. But somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, and I would really like to find out what Evan K. Duke's real name is, because it ain't Evan K. Duke. I can tell you that. I don't think it is. I would love to find out what his real military service is, because I think he's embellishing like Nathan Phillips did, or he's an outright liar about his service, like so many of these Standing Rock phonies are. So many of them that have claimed to be veterans, it turns out they're embellishing about their service record, or they're outright lying about it. And people do not approve of stolen valor.
Yeah.
It's criminal behavior. You shouldn't be, and these are the kinds of things that really piss people off. People using that kind of thing to lift themselves up, to give themselves credibility, because they otherwise don't have it. They just don't have it. You should be very proud of any service if you were one of the people that served, no matter what you did. But no, Nathan Phillips had to embellish on it and had to say that he was a Vietnam War veteran that saw war in Vietnam, in the theater of war, as he described it. He had to lie about it. And people that defend this kind of behavior are ones that I want to point out do so for their own benefit. They're not just giving some fraud a second chance. They're not just giving one of these messed up people the benefit of the doubt like Nathan Phillips. No. They are making excuses for them because they're the ones that promote the liars. They're the ones that promote the hoaxes. They're the ones that exploit and ask for money online for the people that are exploiting. So they're complicit. Okay? They're co-conspirators in these crimes. That's why they really do it. Listen to John Gonzales, one of the co-conspirators of these frauds, making excuses for Nathan Phillips' behavior in this clip. By the way, this clip started with him smudging the screen
in the camera.
And he is I swear to God, this guy is a pretend Indian. He calls him what is his name? Standing Bear?
Yeah, something like that.
His Indian name is Standing Bear. He doesn't look like he looks like a pretend Indian. Excuse me for saying that, but I do believe that he's a very white passing Indian. They put a lot of these very white passing Indians at the very forefront of conversations about Indigenous people when these folks really don't give a rip about that anyway. And there's also some it looks so staged. He's got a drum behind him, and then he's got like a this flute music playing in the background,
like Carlos Nakai probably.
Here you go.
Melissa says, I wish you would call out Nathan Phillips for his lies. Okay, that's not my territory. Yeah, we have bigger fish to fry. We have a lot of important things to pay attention. I don't understand that people getting involved in all of this squabbling. I was there on the front lines at Standing Rock. Many of my friends were injured. Many of my friends were shot, tased, hit with tear gas. Eric Pomacia, he had his hips crushed. He was an Indigenous journalist out there. And Nathan was there. Nathan sang for us. And he was walking in a good way. I always remember Nathan and Dan the Napkin, my beautiful brother. And, we are here fighting for the water. At Standing Rock, we were fighting for water that was the only source of water for 18 million people downstream of the Missouri River, and the only source of potable drinking water for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. When you've been in that type of a situation, your priorities snap back into place. To remember that we're all connected. We are all Indigenous. We are all from the womb of this Mother Earth. That this is a time for coming together, both Allied and Indigenous, to walk in a good way. When we remember the trauma of our people, and we're talking about 527 years of near genocidal extinction, from the time Columbus landed in Taino territory, he marveled at what a wonderful people they were, their language, their ceremonies. They never stopped laughing, he said. And in less than a year, he returned with an armada of 17 ships. He enslaved the people, made them dig the mountains hollow for gold. When there was no more gold to be found, our people were executed. Many of our families killed their own children and then themselves so as to escape colonialism. And the violence which occurred 527 years ago, which occurred at Wounded Knee, which occurred at Standing Rock, it's that violence that extends itself all across this country and the world. And this is what our allies need to realize, that the only thing that exceeds the historical trauma, I would say, is the historical amnesia. People have forgotten who they are. That was the whole point of assimilation. Kill the Indian, save the man. But so when we talk about environmental justice, when we talk about those most heavily impacted communities, we're talking about our Indigenous people, pushed off their land and onto reservations, survivors of residential schools, our missing and murdered Indigenous women. That's what we need to talk about. Not squabbling over Nathan Phillips. Yeah. Our elders need to be, honored, respected, held in high regard. But we've lost our support for our elders. That lack of respect has been lost. That lack of respect that we have for one another. This isn't just about the water. It's not just about a pipeline. This is about respect. It's about the I-thou relationship that our Indigenous people had for all the world. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's not easy to come back from Standing Rock, where you remember the smell of tear gas. You remember your friends that got tased. Or tackled or abducted in the night by Tiger Swan. I remember on the bridge, seeing what looked like blood in the snow and the silence. How quiet it was when everybody was gone, but it was just like you knew what happened there. Susie Desba, had her retina detached with a tear gas canister. Sophia Walensky, my beautiful sister, nearly had her left arm blown off with a concussion grenade. Marcus Mitchell was hit with a beanbag. He lost his left eye. He lost sight. He has no sight of taste, touch, or smell on the left side of his face. And, Marcus he hit a lot of moguls, too, throughout the past couple of years. Nobody from Standing Rock was perfect. It was like the island of misfit toys, A lot of broken people down there. A lot of my friends, Oglala Lakota, being at Standing Rock was a step up to life on the Pine Ridge Reservation, which is the second largest yet the most impoverished reservation on Turtle Island. Yeah. So, allies, educate yourselves,
Yeah.
Okay. I am sorry that I subjected you to a clip of him drunkenly or whatever he's on.
Yeah.
Slow talking for so long with that horrible music in the background.
The music is not horrible, but the way he was using it.
The way he's using it is awful.
Definitely.
Just
Yep.
awful. But I want to cover some of the things that he talked about, okay? Because he's like, first of all, he said, I will not call out Nathan Phillips for lying. He doesn't acknowledge whether or not he believes that Nathan Phillips did lie. He says, we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to analyze it. We have bigger fish to fry, he said. And that talking about it, questioning it, calling him out, that's squabbling. That's, and also, we're supposed to respect Nathan Phillips because he's an elder. We're just supposed to blindly respect him because he's an elder, and allies, that's him scolding you. As a Native American man, he's scolding you, white people, if you want to be an ally. You know what you need to do? You need to blindly respect this Native man, even though he may have lied. Doesn't really matter, because you know what? Genocide, historical trauma, and blah, 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 blah. And he's using things that are very real, that really do impact Native communities, and he is reducing them to a footnote. He's mocking the very history that he claims to defend and protect. In the process, he tells us that a hoax that we know was started by a Twitter account that has now been shut down, that came from Brazil, that in a very, it looks like a pattern of behavior that we know, that other countries are manipulating our media and seeding these fake stories in the news that get picked up and get blown up like wildfire. And these folks are associated with those hoaxes, with those stories in some way. But he doesn't want you to question or talk about it at all. Instead, he wants to talk about all of the people that he is connected to who have been through such horrible things. Nathan, of course, is an ally because he was there at Standing Rock and sang some songs. And then, of course, Susie Desba, a.k.a. Vanessa Dundon, a woman I've showed you is messing with these caravans right now, is at that camp with Evan Duke right now. That woman, she had her retina detached. And Sophia Wolanski, why, she almost had her arm blown off. And then, of course, we have Marcus Mitchell. Marcus Mitchell had lost feeling and taste and smell in one side of his head, one side of his face, and he lost an eye. All these horrible things happened to him. And then he says, he alludes to the fact that Marcus Mitchell also committed a fraud. Almost as if he is
immune. No,
almost as if he is hinting that he knows that Nathan Phillips is a fraud and is faking and is a lying. And you know what? Marcus Mitchell did too. But guess what? These people aren't perfect. In fact, most of the people that were at Standing Rock with him were like the island of misfit toys. What do you think, Duke? What do you think of the argument?
The Island of the Misfit Toys. I've watched that movie when I was a kid. You know, it's where all the toys that didn't work right went, and they could have a community. I think that is bizarre.
Were the people on the Island of Misfit Toys defrauding people for thousands of dollars and creating hoax and faking hate crimes? Were they doing that?
No, they weren't. And plus, he started to rattle off some of the Standing Rock heroes, you know, in his mind. Notice he left out Kathleen Bennett. Mm-hmm. Oh, Kathleen Bennett's never mentioned, and it could be woven into because it really happened.
Because it really
happened.
What they did to her really happened. We exonerated that poor woman. They will not even mention her name ever because, to their great shame, they perpetrated a crime against 2 Indigenous women, one of whom was a vulnerable adult with dementia, and they never looked back. Mm-hmm. To me, it is the most clear evidence that these people do not care.
Yep.
And that they're frauds. And so what did John Gonzales do after the hoax of Marcus Mitchell, the guy that he said that lost his eye and lost the ability to smell and taste and all of that on one side of his head? What happened when I exposed on my show back in October around Halloween that this man was defrauding people of thousands of dollars online, requesting money for fake gunshot wounds that he did not ever have? He staged the entire thing, and people like John Gonzales helped to spread the lie and collect money on his behalf. And I said that I exposed the fact that Marcus Mitchell lied. All I had to do was a reverse Google image search of his x-ray of his bullet to find out that it was a 12-year-old image that was uploaded from a medical journal from Japan, people. And as soon as I exposed the hoax was completely false, I also exposed all of the people like John Gonzales and Laura Christina Livingston Berger, Lolly B, like the woman that's in Tijuana also, all of these other phonies that were spreading the lie and validating that he had been injured to help him defraud others. I exposed them as co-conspirators of his crime. And many of them put up videos. One, the Ryan Vizens video that I showed you, No Spiritual Surrender, where he cusses and he damns me for basically telling people that all of them are also criminals too, for basically exposing the network of criminality that work in tandem with these phonies and frauds. And John Gonzales did not cuss at me in his 30-minute long ranting video that he did, but he did look pretty ticked off that I had called him a criminal as well, a co-conspirator, along with Mitchell's fraud. Nonetheless, once caught, he did not retract his support of Marcus Mitchell. In fact, he doubled down, and he spent 30 minutes in this diatribe basically saying that people like me, he never mentions it was me, but it was me, that people like me have somehow lost their humanity. If you don't believe in the frauds like Jussie Smollett, if you don't believe you basically don't feel things anymore. You must be dead inside. That's the conclusion that we are to draw. Frankly, it's really ridiculous. Take a listen to what he said back then. Whoa.
Marcus, I've needed, time to cultivate my emotions and a lot of the information that I've seen coming in. And I've been surrounding myself with some really good people. And I have a few things I want to say about this. And, be sure to share this out. Because I know it's causing a lot of division. And I think this is really a time for coming together. As far as the night, alleged shooting, which we know now to be false. First thing I want to do is I want to thank everybody who responded so quickly. When there's a call out for a water protector man down, people really rose to the occasion. And, I thought that my brother was shot and bleeding out in a field somewhere in Albuquerque. And, that's one of the reasons why I left that post up there. As controversial as it may be, we have to realize, that Marcus, he experienced a lot of trauma out there at Standing Rock. He and Sophia Walensky, were hurt terribly, and many, many others. So I think it's a time for us to acknowledge the trauma, that our indigenous communities are in a state of generational trauma all the time. But what happened at Standing Rock is very fresh in the minds of those of us who were there, who experienced it. And we need to pray for our brother. I can say that I want to thank everybody that was there and called and expressed concern. I can say that Marcus has gone to court. He went to court, I believe it was today, and he has a 75-day pretrial diversion, which is good news. When I went to Standing Rock, I lost a lot of things. It got to the point where I came back with only the clothes on my back. And the rest of my belongings, including my guitar, everything I owned, disappeared. And I made no mention of theft. I considered it to have been assimilated by the community. What Marcus did was wrong. It brought a lot of terrible flashbacks for me as well. The sound of gunshots in the night, and the screams of those who I knew I couldn't protect. And, I want to thank everybody who rose to the occasion. I know there's a lot of people pointing fingers and saying what they would have done or could have done. And you shouldn't have been duped, by that type of... But, when somebody's in a crisis situation, it's seconds that count. And that's what I thought about. I thought that every second counted. And, I just wanted to know that my brother was safe. Marcus, I still consider Marcus my nephew. And I pray for him and I love him. And I hope to connect with him again at some point. You can pick your friends, but you're stuck with your relatives, and we don't know what kind of traumatic brain injuries were sustained at Standing Rock. When that beanbag hit him in the left eye, it shattered his orbital socket. He lost feeling in the left side of his face, no sense of taste, touch, or smell. He could only taste with a little 1/4 of an inch on the right side. And, it was really bad. They kept him hidden for a few days, chained to his bed in a hospital. I don't know of any 20-year-olds that have gone through that ever. Marcus is 22 now. But send out prayers for your brother. And, prayers for all of those, whose hearts are really hardened by everything that's happened. I believe in transparency. I believe in walking in a good way. The night when Marcus, faked getting shot, I was devastated and I was relieved. I mean, I had those mixed emotions going through me. that, my God, he's okay. And, I want to see him get through the other end of this. And, what happened at Standing Rock is real. What happened to Marcus was real. And, I don't think after going through what Marcus had gone through, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I'm saying that I think that there are probably many unknown variables that were acting on Marcus, and it's just not for us to judge. Love your brother. And if he dies, carry him to the burial ground. Don't consume him. Don't consume, family, the people that we love.
Okay. So theft is not theft.
No.
Fraud is not fraud. Lies are okay as long as you were at Standing Rock, I guess.
Yep.
And guess who else was at Standing Rock? Linda Sarsour.
Okay.
And guess who else was at Standing Rock? I mentioned Tulsi Gabbard, but guess who else was at Standing Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And a lot of the people that have hitched their star to these people's wagon are okay with lying about this stuff. Remember that Ilhan Omar tweeted out about Jussie Smollett. She then took her tweet down because it was a lie, right? And she knows it. They're ready to jump on the bandwagon of lies, no matter what the lies are.
Mm-hmm.
And John Gonzales is willing to double down on this stuff and say, hey, don't be hard-hearted. Believe the lie. Just let it wash over you and accept it.
Yep.
Well, I, for one, am not here for that BS. And let's talk a little bit more of the island of misfit toys, because Sophia Wolanski, as I told you, was connected to all of these phonies still. As recently as just a few months ago, they were all hanging out together in Washington, D.C. Here's Sophia with Winona LaDuke. And the Indigenous Life Movement person, the Doug McLean, the one that I told you was down in Tijuana, the one that was recently questioned by Homeland Security multiple times in the article that I showed you. Birds of a feather, fraud together.
Exactly.
And here is Sophia with Doug McLean at an Indigenous Peoples March from 2017. Here is Sophia with, remember the woman that climbed the Statue of Liberty I showed you on my last show? Here she is with Akwomu, Patricia Akwomu. And who is posting this? John Gonzales, who is tagged with Sophia Wolanski. What does that say, Duke?
Let's see. It says, these amazing women. John Gonzales is with Sophia Lewinsky.
Lewinsky.
Wolanski.
Damn it.
Hey, you're messing me up.
Sorry.
That's okay. Amazing women. Therese Patricia Okomo, who climbed up the robes of the Statue of Liberty to protest the Trump administration's cruel immigration policies, and water protector Sophia Wolanski on the left, who nearly lost her arm in a police attack on the front lines at Standing Rock. Protecting the water, protecting Indigenous rights, protecting the climate, protecting immigrant children, all are all part of the same struggle, and all are essential to our collective future. Please give to support Teresa Patricia Okomo.
Money.
Who has just been found guilty by a judge climbing up the robes of the Statue of Liberty on the 4th of July to protest the administration's cruel family separation policy. Without intense pressure, she could face 18 months in prison.
And then he posts her her GoFundMe.
GoFundMe, hashtag Return to Children, Justice for All, Welcome Refugees, Immigrants' Rights, Honor Life, Protect the Sacred, Keep Families Together, Water's Life, Minnie Coney.
And then there they are. There's Patricia Akwomu with Sophia Wolanski. But she's also, Patricia Akwomu was also pictured with Ladonna Brave Bull Allard. Here's that photo. She's right next to Ladonna, the lady that made the call out with the tears in her eyes. please come to Standing Rock. We need you to help us.
That's right.
We're under attack.
And I've got millions of dollars. Yes, and people did.
Here is Sophia Wilansky with Ladonna and fraud Nathan Phillips and his daughter. And there's John Gonzales. And the person that posted this tags Althea Phillips and says, I wish I could click my tattoos on my feet and be back at Ocheti Sacoin now.
The Wizard of Oz.
Well, they do live in a fantasy world, so I can understand why. But Digital Smoke Signals also supported. Myron Dewey is the head of that, the one that works with Evan K. Duke III. So I want you to, learn all of these connection and these frauds so that when you see them and you see all the frauds together, you go, oh, they're going to fraud. I'm ready. What's the scheme today? Here's the Digital Smoke Signals post defending Nathan Phillips and posting a Guardian article where they also have someone writing to help their cause a lot of the time. It says Nathan Phillips' story shows how truth in the media is really a question of power and perspective. Really? Huh. Julian Noisecat interviews Nathan Phillips. The Omaha Nation wants him to return home so they can host their own honoring ceremony to honor, cleanse, and heal him. He plans to return to Standing Rock, and in the spring he hopes to trace the Missouri River on foot and pray for the water where the Keystone XL pipeline is scheduled to cross. Quote, this is happening all across the country. Hate and division, economic struggle, environmental catastrophes,
the oil, the water, they don't mix. Phillips still carries anger, trauma, and pain. He says that he's ready to forgive. Oh, a second here. He still carries anger, trauma, and pain, but he says he's ready to forgive Sandman and those who he feels have done him wrong. Our lot as Indigenous people, which we're trying to get back with instructions, is not to return hate with hate, but return hate with love, he told me. And so that's what we've practiced.
And then, of course, there's the link to the Guardian article there. And as I showed you before, when Dewey was presenting, I believe, I can't remember what college he was at. I want to say it was MIT, but I might be wrong about that. But here's the post. Cambridge, Massachusetts. I was right.
Okay.
John Gonzales was there to support Myron Dewey as he was speaking at the podium, and they showed their tattoos.
A call to arms.
A call to arms. These are the tattoos that a lot of these Standing Rock phonies all got from many of their tattoo artists like Ernesto Burbank and Stephanie Big Eagle, the girlfriend of Ladonna's son, at Standing Rock and at other pipeline protests, etc. Kind of like to brand themselves as part of this little cadre, I will call it, I guess. Here is one with Gonzales and Naco Bear, the musician. But I wanted you to notice this. Take a look at all of the people in this picture. We've got this man named Robert Eber all the way on the left. And then in the middle you have Naco Bear. Then there's a white guy with the feather in his hair on all the way to the right. Remember him. And John Gonzales, okay? They're at the Indigenous Peoples March. Indigenous Peoples Day celebration, sorry. Okay. With Naco Bear. And Sachem Hawkstorm. I'm assuming that's the white guy there.
Okay.
And of course, there's Robert Eder. Okay? So, excuse me. Here is one. By the way, that shirt, that jacket that Naco Bear is wearing is one of the Red Rum jackets. That's the
really?
motorcycle club. That is the motorcycle club that includes white people and non-Indigenous people many of whom were wearing war bonnets and different kinds of feather headdresses that is an appropriation of culture according to many of these same people. But for some reason, the people in Red Rum can do that, and there's no problem.
Okay.
If you want to be a pretend Indian, you have to be nice to these folks, okay? Then it's okay to appropriate culture. But if you wear a MAGA hat and go to Covington Catholic High School and you do the tomahawk chop, now you're a Nazi, okay? It's just the same type of hypocrisy that is very common within this group. And you see that Nako is connected to Ladonna Brave Bull Allard. Here he is with her wearing the same jacket. Okay. And here is Doug McLean with that same Robert Eder and John Gonzales. Okay. The guy that I told you runs Indigenous Life Movement. And next I want to show you a picture of Robert Eder with one of his friends, Nathan Phillips. And the guy next to him is Dan Nimkin. He was also mentioned by John Gonzales. He was the guy that went to Burning Man with Chase Iron Eyes. Remember? And of course, we have Nako Bear with Ladonna. And Red Rum is right there on the back of his jacket, so you can see for yourself. It's definitely the bike gang. That was one of the organizing groups that was involved with the Indigenous Peoples March. In fact, one of the leaders, I believe it's the guy that's on the stage there, all the way at the top with the little man bun. That guy is one of the leaders. I don't know what his name is. Among the people that were organizing the Indigenous Peoples March, along with Chase Iron Eyes. Okay, here is Nova. Nova Zygo. This is a post from Nova Zygo's page. Oh wait, I skipped the Ladonna Red Rum Purple.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
Sorry, this is the Ladonna with one of the Red Rum people with the hat on. And then of course the guy with the purple shirt is the guy that had the little feather in his hair in the John Gonzales picture.
Okay.
Same guy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the guy that's on the other side of Ladonna was one of the speakers at the Indigenous Peoples March, where Nathan Phillips and the Covington Catholic School kids story came out of. And he was also part of the Red Rum group. So a lot of the same people over and over again. Here's Nova Zygo posts about this Indigenous leader of the Indigenous Peoples March, which is now the Indigenous Peoples Movement, connected to Ladonna and Phyllis Young and Chase Iron Eyes. And this was the same guy you just saw in that picture with Ladonna. And of course, this is a Nova Zygo post from Red Rum with Chase Iron Eyes. Here he is. And I'm pretty sure that guy's not supposed to be wearing that kind of that headdress. He makes them himself, everyone. But still, there it is, right? And remember that Marcus Frejo was the other person right next to Nathan Phillips that I told you was also an entertainer. He's a rapper. He goes by the name of Keezy MC. Here he is with Chase Iron Eyes. This is a tweet from Hip Hop Caucus. And it says, Indigenous nations have been hollering about the Green New Deal for thousands of years, and we feel an energy coming alive at Chase Iron Eyes. And he's doing a podcast about the Green New Deal. He's tagged Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and also Deb Haaland and Representative Davis. Deb Haaland was escorted personally by Red Rum at the Indigenous Peoples March. They did security for Deb Haaland, and Deb Haaland also tweeted out her support for Nathan Phillips when we all know that that was a fake hate crime. So what's happening with the Caravan? How are they using these tactics within the Caravan? Well, they have all of these different platforms and pages and, bloggers and journalists within the mainstream that they have put out this story, this rhetoric about what happened. Remember the video I showed you of the arrest that took place right outside of the sports stadium in Mexico City, where the police were trying to arrest some people. I found out some more information about that, and it was due to the fact that they had been kicked out of the stadium because they were violating the rules of the stadium. Among the rules are that you cannot consume drugs and you cannot consume alcohol, and you have to follow the rules of the temporary shelter, whatever the schedule is, what time you have to be in by, etc. And these people did not. So they kicked them out. And since they didn't want to leave their friends behind, they stayed outside, but they continued doing the same things. So then they were disturbing the peace in the neighborhood, and they were reported to the police. The police went there to arrest them for said crimes, and which are, misdemeanors. And they put out this story that they were being targeted by the Mexican police because they are human rights advocates that are helping the caravan. Here's one of those radical sites that I showed you. Hecate Society was one of the places where they posted the stories about the standoff with federal police at the Viento y Marea shelter in Tijuana, where they held the shelter for this warehouse that had been rented for them for 6 days after it was closed by Mexican health officials because there were several people there with communicable diseases, and because people were pooping and peeing in bottles and buckets inside of the shelter and not using the porta potties right outside. All sorts of really gross, messed up stuff, but they put their own spin on it instead in a story that was posted under Hecate Society. Well, that site also posted propaganda about what happened outside of the stadium, as you can see here. Would you read that for me, please, Duke? I'm going to try to save my voice here.
I sure will. You should save your voice. Something's kind of wrong with my mic, though. It sounds really weird. But I'll have to work on that later. This morning, Mexico City government officials arrived to evict the migrants that were on the street outside of the shelter at Estadio Palillo with the police. At the shelter is a group of approximately 1,500 people that arrived between Sunday night and Monday. For those that arrived Sunday, they were given a green bracelet, and for those that arrived Monday, they were given a purple one. When they arrived, they were told that they could stay 10 days in the shelter, but they continue reading. Don't have the rest.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Oh, look, Ernesto Burbank, one of the tattoo artists, likes this post.
Yes.
So you know it's the same people that are, And also, I told you that there are people connected to Hollywood that are supporting this caravan, and they're watching the caravans as they move along. They're tracking them because they've got people that are planted within the caravans that are Americans or that have residency or citizenship in this country that are descendants or they're from Central America somewhere, and they can pass themselves off as migrants in the caravan without anyone really being the wiser, that are making sure to shepherd them or be coyotes for them. One of those folks is that I believe is one of these people is a guy named Reyes Clinton. The reason I say that is because I was watching his videos and I noticed Sam Slovic commented on one of the videos, and the guy responded to him in English on the video, and I was like, what?
I remember you talking about this, yes.
And so I wanted to show you his Facebook page. Here's Reyes Clinton's Facebook page. That's what it looks like. And if you scroll up, you will see that he is from New York. No, where the about stuff is. It says right there, he's from New York. But he is originally from Progreso, Yucatan. So, he manages Apoyo Caravana. He manages the page for caravan support in Spanish. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And he also posted this video where Sam Slovic is one of the only two people sharing the video. This is one of the people who's supposedly a journalist, a reporter that was down there just to document what was happening to the caravan. But that's not the truth. The truth is that they are not only exploiting the caravan, but they are directing the caravan. They're the ones that are telling the caravan where to go and what to do. In a series of videos that I'm about to show you. I'm going to myth bust some of the propaganda that they have been saying about the caravans. First of all, I want to show you with what tenderness, with what patience the authorities at the Piedras Negras shelter dealt with a man that they arrested for fighting, and they accused him of selling drugs in the shelter and of stealing people's property. I don't know if he stole money or if he stole property, but he threw a tantrum like a child, like literally like a child. And the cop actually takes the handcuffs off of him because he is making such a big stink about it.
Yeah.
And the other guy that is one of the security people for the shelter literally pats him on the chest and tells him to calm down. He goes, yeah. I've never seen anything like this here in the U.S. I think that
there's some compassion.
There is infinite patience that I think the authorities have shown these folks. Take a look for yourself. Tell me what you think. They said I was selling drugs and stealing. Find it on me. What happened? Get up. You're going to take me away. You're going to hurt yourself. Calm down. Come on. Take your foot out of there. Let's work. Hey, lady, could you stop filming and call human rights over, please? I swear to you on my mother's life, it's a lie. No, don't take me like this. Take this off of me. Take this off of me. What's your name, sir? What did they detain you? Tell me who I robbed. I don't know what they accuse me of. Nothing. I was just doing some paperwork. I got into a fight with a guy. He hit me, and I hit him back. That's not stealing. Let's go. Come on. You're gonna hurt yourself. No, I came here with my family. My family's here. Please, you're gonna take me away. They're gonna take me away. Come on, let's go. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No.
Okay, now I put my headphones on so I could hear real clearly so I can translate.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for translating.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you a clip from Beto Alfa Noticias. And in it, they're talking to people that are going to go to Honduras. They're taking groups of people to go to Honduras to harvest coffee, I think. Or it's something. I'll translate when it goes. But another one of the things that these people in the caravan keep saying over and over again is that there's no work. And many are pushing back on that. These are people that are in the news, people that are reporting from the area where they live in Central America that are pushing back on these ideas that there's no work because they think that this is a false narrative as well. Listen to this video.
Beto Alfa, Noticias.
Honduran says the truth about the migrant caravans. What's the truth? This is the border with Florido in Guatemala. We see the people over there arriving from Guatemala, and they're going to Honduras. Honduras is that way. That's the border of Honduras over there. And all these people here, we've already spoken to. There's approximately 30 people here who are going to go and harvest coffee. They have jobs waiting for them. 30 people going to harvest coffee. And it's not the first time they go every year. So they can make money in Honduras. Honduras is this way. And we're right next to Guatemala and doing this report this morning. Because we want people to see. Because the people from Honduras in the caravan are saying over there that there's no work. There are more people over here across the street also going to cut coffee, to harvest coffee. Let's go talk to these other folks too and interview them as well. These are all folks that are arriving here at the border to go and work. Good morning. Look at them. Good day. Are you going to Honduras? To harvest coffee? Yes, harvest coffee. Good day. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Ephraim. I'm from Jocotan. How many people are you coming with? About 8 people. Do you have a job already in Honduras? Where are you going to go work? Yes. Where are you going? Arenera. Where's that at? San Agustin Copan. How many, are you taking your family with you, or are these your kids? No, they're not coming with me. You're not going to take your wife and kids? No. But there are people that do. They go with their entire family. And they say in the caravan that there is no work in Honduras. But look at all of these people going from Guatemala to Honduras to work. We've seen over 30 people. And over here we have a group of about that are also going. Do you already have a job over there in Honduras? Going over there too? Yes, to Honduras. Your name, sir? Amilcar. Bunches of people are going over there. We're all going together. All together to work? And you're going to stay there the whole season? We're staying for 30 days. Very good. Good wishes. May God bless you. God blesses those who do honorable work. These people, it's worth helping them. I hope that people are treated well with good food and good beds, and they're not lazy people. They're not the kind of people that just want to be supported for free. Lazy people like the ones going to the United States. I like these honest people. These humble Guatemalans going to Honduras to work, to harvest coffee in our country. Bunch of people in Honduras that are lazy and don't want to work. Look at the example these brothers of Guatemala are giving them to the caravan. And they do it every year. We're at the crossing in Florido, in the border of Guatemala and Honduras, bringing you the news. There you have it. So next, I want to show you. Next, I want to show you some of what was going on at the Barretal, the place where now they are suing the authorities for human rights abuses. They claim that they were mistreated. There's a lawsuit against the immigration authority, saying that the immigration authority was extorting people, and people are doing they're going to do a thorough investigation and check out what these claims are. But I wanted to show you some images of what was another view of what was happening there. I'm going to warn you, the following video is very disturbing and gross. And if you have kids in the room, you might not want them to watch what's going to happen right now. These are little children dancing with a scantily clad, a fully grown adult woman. I don't know who she is. But at any rate, I'd hate to believe that she's the mom and is letting these kids dance like this, but so it's so inappropriate. And of course, you're going to see the massive partying that went on at this place where they claim that they were kept as if in a prison. I've never seen an American detention facility or a prison where they were partying like this. Here's that clip. The song is saying, take off your clothes, take off your clothes. That guy's like being tossed in the air, up and down, up and down. It's crazy. Oh my God. Okay. Now, I also want to show you some of the violence that went on at this shelter. As I told you, some of the people there were part of the gang Mara Salvatrucha, that's MS-13, and they were removed and they were deported. Here is an image, a video from one of the fights that broke out there, so you can see for yourself what the authorities there had to contend with. They're fighting, they're fighting, they're fighting. The migrants are fighting. The migrants are fighting. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what has happened at the Eagle Pass, Piedras Negras border, where they've found a total of 4 bodies now, because these people are being encouraged to cross the river. Remember, in Tijuana, they had a hard time going over that wall.
Mm-hmm.
So they're encouraging people to go over there to Texas because they could just swim across the river as if it were just, toss another shrimp on a bobby. It's simple. Just swim over there.
Swim, yeah.
People are dying, folks. People are dying, and it's very sad. And this guy and this reporter talks really fast, so I'm going to try to keep up with him as I translate what they're saying. Go, Duke.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a Dale al Clic.
After the increase migrants to the border of Piedras Negras with Eagle Pass, they also increased the rescue crews had increased work. In 24 hours, they saved 17 people that got stuck in the river. This group contained a baby that was months old and a child that was 3 years old that were stuck in the river, along with all of these other folks that had hypothermia and that were in the risk of dying, screaming out for help. CBP said that they rescued people with their lives and sent to the hospital. Dozens of migrants are trying to cross, and we found 4 bodies in the river. Juan Gonzales, Noticieros from Televisa. Done. Boom.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa, the terrorist dude, and how he is messaging about what the people, what the authorities of Coahuila, the governor and the mayor have done with the people that were at that shelter. Because remember, I showed you that they got them jobs in different states, that they got them all humanitarian visas, the ones that don't have their humanitarian visas and travel papers. Some of them got helped to request asylum in the United States. Some of them got help to get their paperwork there in Mexico, and they even did job fairs for them, that they were able to get them jobs in other places in the country. But here's how Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa sees all of this.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Buenas tardes, hermanos
Good afternoon, brothers from Honduras,
hermanos de Centroamérica,
brothers from Central America,
hermanos del
brethren
mundo.
of the world.
Queremos pues comentar
We want to
tres
comment
cosas
a few things
acerca de la situación
about the
que,
situation
que están viviendo los
that
migrantes
the migrants are going through
tanto en Piedras Negras
in Piedras Negras and
como en Tijuana.
in Tijuana.
Pues tenemos informes
We have
de que
information
de
that Piedras Negras
están trasladando
is transporting
en
people
pequeños
in
grupos
small groups,
a los migrantes a
these
diferentes
migrants,
partes.
to different parts.
Por ejemplo,
For example,
nos mandan reportes de un
we have
lugar que se
reports
llama
that from a place
Ciudad
called
Acuña,
Ciudad Acuña,
donde
where
a la gente la fueron a dejar
they drop people off
en el parque
in a park
para que durmiera allí
for them to
en
sleep
la
there
intemperie.
out in the open.
En una
In
situación
one situation,
bastante difícil.
in a terrible situation,
Sin
excuse me,
trabajo,
without work,
sin dinero,
without money,
durmiendo en la intemperie,
sleeping outside,
sin comida.
without food.
Esa es la realidad que
That's
están
the
viviendo los
reality
migrantes
that these migrants
ahorita
are experiencing
en todos los lados
in all of these
a donde
places
han llevado
where
a
they
esta
have
gente,
taken them.
Los del gobierno de
People
Coahuila.
of governing
Yo no entiendo
Coahuila,
cuál es
I don't know
el propósito
what their purpose
del gobierno,
of this government
aunque se
is,
intuye que,
although we
lo
intuit
que buscan
that
es
what they seek
desarmar la caravana para
is
que
to
no entre
take apart the caravan
en grupo
so they
hacia
can't be
Estados
together
Unidos.
when they enter the United
Yo
States.
siento que esa es
I feel that that is
la cuestión o
the
el propósito que
proposed
están buscando
goal
este gobierno.
sought by this government.
Sin embargo, el
Despite
alcalde de Piedras
The
Negras
mayor of
ha
Piedras
dicho
Negras
en
has said
reiteradas ocasiones
and reiterated on several occasions that
en el problema de los migrantes
the
de
problem with
Piedras
the
Negras
migrants in
están
Piedras Negras,
interviniendo los tres niveles de gobierno.
that it is being intervened
quiere
in
decir?
by all three
Que el
parts of
gobierno
the government.
federal,
So the federal
el
government,
gobierno estatal
the state government,
y el gobierno municipal
and the municipal
están
government,
de acuerdo
they're all
en
in
lo que se
agreement
está haciendo.
with what is being done.
Cuando llevan a la gente
When they
de
take
forma
people,
separada
separate
a
them
diferentes lugares
to different
y los
places,
están dejando
and they
aquí
drop
sin
them off
trabajo, sin
without work,
alimentación, sin un lugar
without
donde
food,
vivir,
without a place to live at,
pues los están exponiendo
they're exposing them
completamente
completely
para que las bandas delincuenciales
so
puedan
that
hacer
gangs
con
can
ellos
do anything they
lo
want
que les venga
to them.
en gana. Yo estoy haciendo un llamado con
I'm
este
making a
video
call out with this video
al gobierno de México.
to the government of Mexico.
Vaya, había un compañero que me decía,
There was a partner, a friend of mine,
¿sabrá López Obrador
that asked me,
lo
do
que
you
está
think the
pasando con los
president
migrantes?
knows, the president of Mexico knows what's happening to the migrants?
Porque bueno, de
Because
saber López Obrador esto,
I think if he knew,
pues también estaría siendo parte
then
de esta
if he knows about it,
conspiración
he's part of this
en contra de
conspiracy
los migrantes.
against the migrants.
Porque es exactamente eso,
Because
es una
that's what this is.
conspiración,
This is a
lo
conspiracy
que hay en contra de los migrantes.
against the migrants.
Incluso el
In fact,
alcalde de Piedras Negras
The
decía que
mayor of
algún día
Piedras
se va a
Negras said
saber
that one
lo
day
que pasa,
people will really know
por qué están tomando las decisiones
the
de
truth about
encerrarlos
why
y ahora
they've
de
locked them up
mandarlos
and
en pequeños
why they're
grupos
sending them in
a
these small
diferentes
groups to
lugares.
all of these different places.
Pero yo sí quiero
But
decirle
I want
a
to tell
Honduras,
you,
quiero
the people of
decirle
Honduras
a México, porque
and the
México
people
es
of
un
Mexico,
país
because
de gente humana,
Mexico has
Quiero decirle al
humanity
mundo
left in it.
que
And I
los
want to say to the whole
migrantes
world,
que están en
that
Piedras Negras
the migrants that are in Piedras Negras
se están poniendo en peligro.
are being exposed
Esa
to
es
danger.
la cuestión por la cual
That
yo dije,
is the
pues
reason
vamos a hacer
why
un pequeño
we
video,
have to do this video
¿verdad? Donde la gente conozca esta
so people
realidad.
can find out what's happening.
Pero lo mismo
the
pues ha
truth.
pasado en Tijuana.
The same thing happened in
A
Tijuana
la
too.
gente se le dividió en pequeños
People were
grupos, de
broken
hecho hay
up.
cuartos
The caravan was broken
donde
up.
solo pueden vivir
And now
dos
they're
personas.
putting them in rooms. They're
No pueden
renting rooms
vivir
where
más
only
allí.
2 people can
Y
be in
eso
the
está
room.
bajo el control de las
And
personas que
people
están
that rent out
rentando
those
esos
that
cuartos.
own those properties
Los que están
are the ones
rentando
that
esos cuartos
determine how many people
deben
can
de
be in there.
garantizar
And so people rent
que
them, and they
solo
have
dos
to guarantee
personas van a
that
estar
only
en
2
ese
people
lugar.
are going to be in that room.
quiera la visita de alguien
They don't
más.
even allow
Ni tan
visitors.
siquiera eso.
Not even that.
Entonces, pues,
So, okay, Duke, tell me what you thought about that. You got to tell me what your thoughts are.
His name again?
Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa.
Ulloa.
Yep.
Well, he's. Someone said, "Is that the terrorist?" And yeah, he is. He keeps on playing. He keeps on playing out, and he keeps on sending these videos out like he's the speaker for the whole caravan. And his conspiracy is about how the caravan has been broken up. It's been broken up in Tijuana. It's this big plot, and that the president of Mexico doesn't know anything about it.
Or that if he does know about it, it's because he's part of the conspiracy.
That's right. That's right. So and this is the guy that demanded $50,000 for everyone to go back home, and that the United States would have to overthrow their dictator too. Give everybody $50,000, and they'd all march away from the border. So I don't know where he is, if he's in Chiapas now, or where?
No, he's in Tijuana.
He's in Tijuana.
He's in Tijuana right now.
He moves around for being someone who's been, basically
he's a volunteer, Duke.
wanted by the law. He's United States wanted to put him in prison. Mexico wanted to deport him. It's like he's one of these leaders that somehow pretends he's still a leader, and he must have some sort of influence in the background of the stuff going on. And he professes he doesn't. He's just reporting what he sees. But I think this is one of the kingpin of the people who is behind a lot of the dysfunction that's going on.
Exactly. You're right. You nailed it. He is. But listen to the messaging, because that's the propaganda that he is putting out that he wants people to believe. They're the victims.
Yeah.
The people are the caravan goers are the victims. And you know what? The ones who are simply naive, people seeking a better life and work, or seeking asylum because they're really fleeing from danger, those innocent people are being put at risk. But they're being put at risk by the ones that are agitators. They're being put at risk by these American activists from the left. They're being put at risk from these violent Antifa and other anarchist-connected groups. They are the ones that are putting these people at risk. These pretend Indians and the real ones that are, in collusion with them to do this, the people in the media that are doing this. And I wanted to show you another video that got me into a lot of hot water, because I posted, actually somebody sent this to me and linked it, and I was not surprised that there were people there that were attacked because Antifa was there. Okay. And this woman, as she will explain in the short clip, I will, I guess I do. Somebody took out the link to the video in this document. It was Nemo. Wasn't it Nemo? Somebody's been doing it, because I had the link so I could share it with my audience and they could go and watch the entirety of the video themselves. Mm-hmm. But it was removed from the video here, from the script. So I guess I can't share it. But maybe Nemo can find it and put it back. Thank you, Nemo. That would be great. And what happened, you can find it on 88.1's Facebook page, because I shared it there. Oh, yeah. You can find it there. Just go to our Facebook page. If you're watching from our Facebook page now, just scroll down. You'll find it. And what it shows, what she explains in this clip I'm going to show you, is that there was a protest against Ilhan Omar that was set up because of her comments, anti-Semitic comments, right? And she suspected, as did other people that are Trump supporters and that do not like Ilhan Omar, that found her comments to be reprehensible, and people were calling even for her resignation, in fact. And she got a lot of backlash, even from Democrats. Nancy Pelosi went, no, you can't do that. And so she did her fake apology, right? So, and this is just my opinion, I think that they staged this protest to attract people so that they could stage another confrontation and put her back in the victim seat, right? Get some kind of sympathy for Ilhan and have people see her as a victim rather than as an aggressor, rather than as somebody that is doing something that is anti-Semitic or something that is bad, right? That's exactly what this woman claims that she felt was happening at this rally, and other people that are in her group also did as well, and they posted videos saying people don't go to this. But she decided to go down there with a group of people for protection to film it and to see if she was right. And only 3 people were there protesting Ilhan Omar. All of the rest of the people that were there were pro Ilhan Omar. They had a bunch of people there that were holding signs that said, Jews stand with Ilhan Omar, which were really bizarre. And she thinks that they're not really even Jews. They're just handed signs to hold up signs saying that they are Jews for Ilhan Omar. And also, she is saying that there's an Antifa guy that organized this protest and that he's there, and that this was all a setup, that it was there, you know, that they're putting the people she was very concerned about with the anti-Ilhan Omar protesters that were there because she was worried for their safety. And she calls the guys, she says he's a fake or a fraud. I can't remember what his name is in the video. And pretty soon, one of these guys that's masked, by the way, comes over, sticks his hand in the vehicle that they're sitting in across the street where they're filming from a distance what's going on in the protest. And I think, because you can't really see it clearly in the video, if you see something that I don't see, please let me know. I think the man, when the guy sticks his hand inside of the car, slapped the hand away, and then he immediately starts to put the window up. And the guy who had his hand slapped away that was sticking his camera phone, you know, into the vehicle, believes that his phone fell inside the vehicle and starts saying incorrectly, screaming incorrectly, "He stole my phone, he stole my phone, he stole my phone." And then people run over, and then chaos ensues, and they start smashing the vehicle's windshield. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Watch for yourself. This is all just for show. Fake news. They're gonna tell everybody that Ilhan supporters showed us. Bullshit. It's fake.
You got 3 people to show up.
Yep. Pathetic. If you can't hear them, go home. Islamophobe. You've got to go. Hey, hey. Stupid. How's the picture? I think you're right, Peggy. It looks clear on my side, so I hope you're not getting a pixelated picture here. I appear to have a good signal. No, Jasmine, I don't think so. I think the ones that left actually just didn't do any research on this event before showing up. They fell in a trap. I really do. The look in their eyes told me that they made a mistake. Thank you, Ellen. You got it, Patty. Please share. I hope to God this is set to public.
Oh, you're live?
Yep. Been live whole time.
Oh, okay.
I just decided to, and apparently I have a clear picture, so. If you can't hear them, they're saying immigrants' rights are human rights. Yeah, they're human. It doesn't mean they're immune from prosecution for breaking the law. All right, we're at the stand against Ilhan Omar for people just tuning in. It started at 12 o'clock today, 404 North 3rd Avenue in Minneapolis. Ilhan Omar is the congressional representative for CD5 here in Minnesota. Guess who lives in that district? Me. I voted for Jen Zielinski, if anybody's wondering. I voted for Doug Wardlow, not Keith Ellison. It's all for show.
Hey everybody, RC Green over here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. All
right, again, pay attention to the red coat, the American flag. That is
Callie Kern. Do not know this person's real name. He won't tell me. He just said that's good for now, and I said, you know, what's your real name? So, this fucking guy.
What's funny part is we got a Jewish organization.
Please share, you guys, especially if you have Minnesota friends or groups. People need to see this. This was a setup. Don't come to Minnesota trying to trap my people. Fuck you, Callie Kern.
Rights and all this and that. They're taking pictures of our license plates and trying to get pictures of our faces. Hey! Hey! This guy stole my phone! This guy stole my phone and my glove! Hey! This car stole my phone! This car stole my phone! Hey! Don't you do it! Right now! Get my phone back right now!
Oh, damn it!
Motherfucker! Your phone's down there, buddy!
Oh my god! Alright, we gotta get off camera. Sorry guys, I gotta get off camera.
I apologize for all of the cursing that was in there. Obviously, that's not going to be able. You got a lot of editing to do, dude.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of
Sorry
notes
about
here.
that. But I did want to show you the unedited video so that you could see for yourselves. And once again, the video in its entirety, if you want to go watch it, is on my 88.1 FM Fargo Moorhead Facebook page for the radio station. And it is just somebody trying to confirm what was going on. There, people that slowed it down said that the guy that picked up the phone is the guy that broke the windshield. So they knew that the phone was not in the car.
Yeah.
They knew that he dropped the phone, or the phone fell somewhere over there. The guy even tells him as they're driving away, your phone's over there, buddy.
It's on the ground.
It was on the ground. The guy that picked it up apparently came back over and damaged broke the vehicle. I mean,
smashed the windshield.
That was a terrifying attack, don't you think, Duke?
Oh yeah, that was very scary. And you know, the woman basically said she voted Republican. You know,
yeah.
And they were just sitting there filming it and exposing what was going on and commenting. And the guy came over and just started, you know, shoving his phone in their face, and they're inside a vehicle. I mean, they're sitting in a vehicle parked, and you know, so it's just like, you know, the perils of being a live streamer, I guess, you know, but also if you're going to get near Antifa people who want to, you know, it reminds me of the Westboro Baptist Church, you know, that they'll do these protests and then they'll pull you in, or they'll pull you in to be violent. But these guys do the opposite. They just go violent on people. You know, I just think that it's disgusting and it's dangerous, you know, and it's, if you voted Republican, you know, her candidate's lost. But, you know, she's, you know, just, that's not enough to have your windshield broken. And they weren't in people's faces. They weren't doing anything that I think that would warrant people coming over and smashing their windows, you know, and they didn't take the person's phone, you know.
And look who comes to the aid of Ilhan Omar after she makes her tweet, which got her in a lot of trouble. Glenn Greenwald of The Intercept.
Oh, boy.
Yes, he's been featured on my show before. He tweeted, GOP leader Kevin McCarthy threatened punishment for Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib over their criticism. No. The wording she used was not criticism. It was anti-Semitic.
Yeah, really.
For the criticism of Israel. It is stunning how much time U.S. political leaders are spending defending a foreign nation, even if it means attacking free speech rights in America. Hate speech is not okay, especially not coming from a congresswoman.
Yeah.
And scroll down, because he has more tweets on the same tweet. And then he says, equating. Okay, now this is the message you got to listen for, okay? Because this is the propaganda that they're all trying to spin. Equating Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib's criticism, again, that word, false, fake news, criticism of Israel to Steve King's long defense of white supremacy is obscene. McCarthy said it's worse. In the U.S., we're allowed to criticize. That wasn't criticism. It was hate speech.
Yeah.
Our own government, certainly foreign governments, the GOP House leader priorities are warped. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this other Olivia tweet. This one is, I can't say her middle name. Olivia Cotby Smith. And she also shares the same sentiment. Zionism is colonialism, and anyone who fights against our right to boycott is an anti-Arab bigot.
Wow.
So they're defending BDSM. You can scroll up more. I believe there's more. And she goes on and says, some people have responded to this saying that we can defend Ilhan. We can defend. I think they meant to say can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
That we can defend Ilhan. Oh, yeah. We can defend Ilhan without accusing everyone attacking her of being racist. To which I say, nope. They're definitely all racist. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't point out when someone is lying, defrauding, faking hate crimes, or being anti-Semitic because you're immediately labeled as a racist. It's insane. It's crazy. And then here is another one. Everyone, she says, is attacking Ilhan. Everyone attacking Ilhan Omar is racist. Thanks. And she goes on to, this is same Olivia Catby Smith. She goes on, she says, they're coming after her because they're terrified of how mainstream support for BDS is becoming. It's not. You stop trying to make BDS being mainstream a thing. It's not. People know that it is bigoted and that it is anti-Semitic. And that's the reason why Chase Iron Eyes and Red Warrior Camp / Water Protector Legal Collective lawyer / Bernie Sanders liaison to his campaign. What was her name? The lawyer lady. Oh my God, it just went out of my brain.
You always ask me for names I can never remember.
She went to Israel with Chase Iron Eyes. Someone help me out. Were with Linda Sarsour and Tamika Mallory. And is somebody going to help me out on the screen here? I'm waiting for it.
Nope. I'm not going to help you. Move on.
Nemo, tell me what it is. Do you know what it is? God dang it. Well, that's why the two lawyers that were with that group that went with Linda Sarsour were arrested because the Israeli government considers their group a hate group and a terrorist group, and they were kicked out. Tara
Hauska.
We did it, folks.
Thank you, Carol. Carol Lissart.
Yes, thank you, Carol. Because it is a terrorist organization, considered a terrorist organization, and that's why those lawyers were barred for life from returning to Israel. You don't get deported from a country, detained, arrested, questioned, all of the things that have happened to many of these activists currently in the Caravan Support Network without committing some infraction or crime. You don't get banned from a country simply because people thought that you were being racist. No. You were doing something messed up. And the messaging, again, the same MO, is that they flip the script. They turn the tables on you. For even talking about this on our page on 88.1, I had people questioning whether or not I was Islamophobic. I mean, we are losing our collective minds here when we are just out of hand accusing people of being a racist or anti-Semitic simply because of who they voted for or what kind of hat they're wearing. Like it's out of control, folks. And we need to ratchet this back. We need to beat it back somehow. Beat it back with, and of course, I want to bring you more updates on what is happening with the caravan at the border and with this fake news nonsense. Keep it here on 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. This has been a Mexican Crossing Lines with your host, Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
Thank you for being with us, and good night.